The Toronto Raptors were founded in 1994, and they got off to a rough start, to say the least. Their first ever player, B.J. Armstrong, refused to report to the team. He would eventually be traded. In the year 2000, Vince Carter was the first Raptor ever to play in the All-Star game and put on a legendary performance in the dunk contest. For many years, the Raptors struggled with management issues, signing players, and building off success. Fast forward to 2018 and BAM! Raptors trade fan favorite player DeMar DeRozan to the Spurs to obtain Kawhi Leonard, who would go on to lead a magical 2019 playoff run en route to the team's first ever championship. So welcome in to Pro Fans. We are here today talking about the Toronto Raptors, the reigning NBA champions, Toronto Raptors. And we are blessed to have Stewart Cameron with us today. Stewart, how is it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me on here, Zach. Really appreciate it. Really excited to talk about the Toronto Raptors. Sucks that there's no basketball going on right now, so this is really good for me.
Yeah, have you been following everything that's going on with the NBA and this summer showdown tournament?
Yeah, so I know that's going to start up July 31st. They're going to have a little season and then get the playoffs going. And sometime like late October, that's the last day that they'll have the finals. So hopefully the Raptors will be in it.
Yeah, do you think the Raptors, got a shot at this thing?
For sure, but I think like any team right now has a shot. Like you've had a lot of downtime. Like I don't know how players have kept up with training and practice, like just individually. So we'll see. I think the Toronto Raptors have a good overall team, like the players, the organization. So I think that chemistry will hold through until the season starts up again. So I remain hopeful.
Okay. Who needs to step up for the Raptors for them to, make any noise in this thing?
I don't think it's an individual person. Like obviously Pascal Siakam, like that man needs to. I hope he gets the Mamba mentality that he needs to have. Like some games you really see it. Other games you really see him being nervous. But I think that Kyle Lowry's a leader, but they have such an overall good team that if one player's slacking, like Pascal, you got like Serge Ibaka could hit a few threes, get him going. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet defense. So I think it's a collective.
Oh, awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing the Raptors, and I'm just excited to have the NBA back in general.
Yeah, man, going nuts.
Yeah. Why are you a fan of the Toronto Raptors?
I'm a fan of the Toronto Raptors because I'm a fan of basketball. I grew up with a hockey family, but there was some certain situations that happened where I had to move in with my friend, and he liked basketball. I never liked basketball. I never really cared for it. I sucked at it. But then he started getting me hooping, and then obviously I started watching the Raptors with him, and then so it was just like he was teaching me about like the poetry of it, and then getting me into it. I was already a Maple Leaf fan, so obviously you got that Canadian thing going. But it was for my love of basketball first that I became a Toronto Raptors fan.
Well, and what would you say is your earliest Toronto Raptors memory?
My first Toronto Raptors memory it was my first game I ever watched because my dad never watched basketball, but I remember watching Toronto Raptors versus Philadelphia to get into the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7, and we missed the shot.
That was the Carter shot.
The Carter shot.
Yeah.
That was my first memory.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's a heartbreaker. Yeah.
That was tough. Yeah.
So to kind of contrast that, how much did that shot that Kawhi hit against Philly mean to you in Game 7?
I teared up, man. I teared up. Like I went nuts. It meant so much because it felt like all the talk around the legitimacy of our organization, like all the hate that we get for being a Canadian team. Like it felt like that what we all knew collectively as a Toronto Raptors fans was happening finally. Like all that love and dedication and I feel like we put in work. You know, you got to be a Toronto Raptors fan. You got to put in work. Like the heartbreak year after year, that it finally paid off.
Because it's one thing to be a Raptors fan right now. I mean, you see all the bandwagon Raptors fans after last season.
Yeah.
But you were a Raptors fan before it was cool to be a Raptors fan.
Yeah.
So I would love. Can you talk about some of your favorite players over the years? I mean, obviously you have Carter, you have Bosch, DeRozan, but who else kind of sticks out to you over the years?
Tracy McGrady, like that's a guy that I wish that we kept. I like Del Curry. He was solid. JYD, Morris Peterson, those are the boys from way back, Jose Calderon, I know that I wasn't too much a fan of him as like a person, but I just liked him as a straight up point guard. Can't stand Andrea Bargnani. I wish we never got him in the draft. But you named a lot of the guys that I like, DeRozan. I liked Bosch. Like I wasn't a believer in his overall skill just because I didn't think he had that mentality. But but you got Kyle Lowry and all those guys. Vince, and obviously number one, Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Like he changed the game of basketball for Canadians.
Yeah, that's definitely. I was talking to my researcher before this, and he said the moment it was kind of cool to be a Raptors fan was when Vince Carter won that dunk contest.
Yeah, there's a documentary out called The Carter Effect. Have you got into that at all?
I watched it? Yeah, but I'll take you up on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, man. It just talks about like the culture of Canada, like being hockey, and then you have this new sport coming, not new, but new to us, and then it's really hard for tickets to start going. But then we get our man Vince Carter, who's just electrifying. Just like we fall in love with him. He puts basketball into Canadian culture, and that's not an easy thing to do. And he did that with the dunk contest, as you mentioned.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Masai. What can you comment on? What were your initial thoughts when he made, the best trade in Raptors history, hands down, to get Kawhi? Because DeRozan, like he was the Raptors' hero. Like, what do you say when he's gone, but you get Kawhi? What were your thoughts when he made that trade?
I was like, oh snap! Like I was, as a fan, thrilled, right? Like I knew that Kawhi Leonard, like I watched him in San Antonio. This guy was just a phenomenal, like superstar rated, but it hurts, right? Like you got DeRozan, who's been with us, and just like I thought you were tearing there. I thought you were, but yeah. But I, as a pure basketball, I was happy because DeRozan, he's a great player, but not a good playoff player. Like he's never going to be that. He's never going to have that kind of stuff. He's never going to have that Michael Jordan. Kawhi, though, superstar, and he changed the dynamics of Toronto Raptors. We carry ourselves like a championship team because of him.
Yeah, you definitely notice a difference in the team even after Kawhi has left, don't you?
Yeah, we just walk up with our heads high, like we're not the Toronto Raptors. Like there's a certain seriousness. Like I loved in the playoffs, and Kendrick Perkins mentioned this too when we were facing up. When we beat Milwaukee, and then we're in Golden State. The Raptors didn't smile once when we were winning games. Like they're like mission mode, on to the next one, and that's the kind of culture I believe in. Like don't celebrate until we get it.
With that being said, my next question is, bringing us back to last year's magical playoff run, is what was the bigger moment of excitement for you? When Kawhi hits that Game 7 shot, and it bounces like a million times on the rim.
Yeah.
Or when they actually won the finals, because a lot of Raptors fans that I talked to say that the moment they knew they were going to win the finals was when Kawhi sunk that shot.
They said that? Oh man, Milwaukee's a great team. Like when we played, like they were the hardest. Philly was obviously the hardest, but on paper, I thought Milwaukee was gonna give us an even harder run.
Okay.
So I wasn't like for sure we got this. Like good, we ran into the finals, but Milwaukee's gonna be a serious team. But when we beat them, and then when we beat Golden State, the bigger moment for me was when we won the championship, because it's the Game 7 shot is unbelievable. Like, it gives me a totally different feeling of like passion and craziness, but just like the relief in winning that championship, like, and just the joy it brings me is more satisfying as a Toronto Raptors fan. But yeah, like the greatest moment in Raptors history, the greatest shot was the Kawhi shot. But it's not a championship. We got to get that championship. So that moment when we won it was better for me.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
How much would it have sucked if we got that shot and not went to the championship?
Exactly. Yeah, he sinks that shot, and then they lose in the to Milwaukee. Then you're just you're at the same place a couple of years ago with DeRozan, where you lost to LeBron, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, good shot, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like it might have been challenged. We might have not even been talking about it the same way, that shot, if we didn't win the finals.
What would it mean for you if the Raptors won this summer showdown tournament?
It would be a great feeling. Like, there's a lot of uncertainties, right? Like, I don't know how serious the players are taking this tournament. I've been checking, but there's not a lot of talk going on. They're just keeping things to themselves. So I'm hoping that the players take it seriously, as if it was like just a regular season and like things are just like COVID never happened. But it'd be a great satisfaction in winning that, because I think we are gonna win it. I think we're gonna prove the haters wrong. But I think I'm excited to watch basketball. But I hope the players are taking it seriously.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, that's all the question I have today. Do you have any other kind of closing thoughts on just what the Raptors mean to you in your personal life?
To me, man, like, I got the Raptors jersey. I got a Raptors tattoo. You can't see it too much right there. It has my brother's name on it. Just my brother passed away back in December, and like him and I watched Raptors games together all the time. So watching the Raptors for me means a lot more, because like I appreciate the people that are around me watching it, like and how we all come together to watch one specific thing for just a small amount of time, and just like the little moments that we share with each other. So it means a lot.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing it. That's such a unique perspective to have. That's very specific to you as a Raptors fan. And yeah, it's almost like when you're watching Raptors, you're watching with your brother still.
Yeah, and I got a little cool story. I'll send you a picture of it too. Is the Raptors, they brought the title to the championship, Larry O'Brien to Hamilton, and we went there to get a picture with it. And my brother was there. It was one of the last few moments we spent there. And I got an email from there. So when my brother passed, I emailed the guy that I was talking to that day, and I got a custom-made jersey with my brother's name on the back and his number. And Kyle Lowry signed it. I emailed them. They said, if you get here, we had tickets to the game. They said, if you get here, we'll get him to sign the jersey.
That's incredible. Wow. Please send me a pic of that. Wow.
I will, man. Thanks, bro.
One other thing, I have to, full disclosure before we end this interview, Stewart. When I decided I really wanted to do an episode of this show on exploring the Raptors fandom, you were the first person that came to mind. I know lots of Raptors fans, but and it was because after the Raptors defeated Milwaukee last year, you posted a video to Facebook of you just going nuts.
Point six. Let's go Raptors! Let's go! Let's go Raptors! Here we go! Let's go! Raptors win! We're going to the finals! We're going to the finals! The Raptors are going to the finals! Let's go! Raptors win! Yeah! Woo! Yes! Raptors! Woo!
What was going through your mind there as you're in the streets and you're just going Raptors? Raptors.
I just felt this surge of just happiness and just like excitement because this is like something new. Like we believed in the Raptors so many years, and this is like the fulfillment of it. And if this was the Toronto Maple Leafs going into that, you would have seen a lot more people on the streets doing that very same thing because they're in a drought too. But as a Raptors fan, after all the hard work of being a fan and getting let down year after year, finally the hype was finally realized in real life. It actually happened. So I lost my mind. I took a shock, man. I was in shock and happy. It was beautiful, man.
It was beautiful, and thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
And sharing your story, just in general. I really appreciate you coming on the show and letting us explore, your story and your connection with the Raptors team. And go Raptors in this summer.
Let's go Raptors! Yeah, man, we're gonna do it.